at WWL 870 AM in 1969. You then spent some time across the Pacific in Korea, where you actually served your country, did essentially Adrian Cronauer's job in Korea, and then made the move back to WWL, where you ran into a guy named Charlie Douglas. It's all kind of come full circle here. Dave, I want you to kind of take a moment as we talk about what the last ride of the Road Gang is, for you to kind of tell people what you have planned for the next year.
Oh, there was a plan?
Oh my God, please tell me there is.
Well, first off, I just want to say one quick thing about the national anthem, and it's to Spencer Squire with the coffee, Road Dog Coffee, made the point that we need to recognize drivers, just not in that crisis period, you know, but throughout the lifespan. And the national anthem being played every morning before the show starts was not my idea. It was drivers who called up and said, hey, you know what would be a good idea? Why don't you start the show? You're on in the early morning. Start the show with the national anthem. And we did, and we still do. So again, it's driver-centric. We've always been about the drivers on the show, and I hope that has been made plain through the year. So what we're going to do this year, what I kind of wanted to do was kind of, and for lack of a better word, maybe kind of look at a retrospective of the trucking industry, the people in the industry, and the people in the radio industry that dedicated themselves to the folks in trucking, because there have been a lot of trucking programs on the old AM radio stations that have kind of come and gone now, as that technology is being kind of put to the side and new technologies are coming in. The technology here today with Sirius XM is light years away from what we used to do. If you were driving between St. Louis and Kansas City on I-70, you could hear us pretty good until you got close to St. Louis or Kansas City, because then all of the local things, all of the carbon arc lighting, all of the computers in later years, other radio stations would interfere, tall buildings. So it was kind of a hit or miss. And most folks thought my voice sounded like this. And then the traveling salesman says, or there's a closure on I-70 at exit. So that was our life in AM radio. God bless it. It got us to where we are here. So we're going to kind of do a retrospect. And then there's another facet of trucking that has, we're not going to let it go by the wayside, and that is an incredible world of music. Trucking songs, trucking music is a bona fide subgenre of country music, because that's kind of where it started, kind of where it landed. And it's kind of an ironic story. The guy who wrote the first truck driving song back in 1939 noticed that he was a jukebox repairman. And he would go to these roadhouses and put the new records in and get the money and fix them and everything. And he noticed that, you know, most of these people in here are truck drivers. I want to write a truck driving song and make a lot of money. That's how truck driving. And we did a little thing on that. It's called Truck Drivers Blues. On our Trucking Tunes Tuesday videos that Tara put together so beautifully. And so there's a lot of stories there. So we're going to keep the music going, we're going to keep the stories going, and keep that thread unbroken, I think, is the
You're doing that thing you always do.
He's burying the lead.
You're talking about everybody else but you. Tell people what's going on.
Oh! Well, after all these many years, it's time to hand off the baton, and I am going to retire next year, June 1st. So we're going to take this year, the last ride of the Road Gang, and kind of do that retro thing and kind of keep that alive and maybe push it on into the future.
It's time for Dave to sleep in, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, and by the way, sleeping in means getting up at 5:30 and not 3:30 in the morning. By the way, I've tried, by the way, guys, I've done the show at his house, and Dave has actually gotten up at 5:30. But how are we doing this morning? Yeah. I mean, literally, we'll pop in and do that. I want everybody here to give Dave Nemo an absolutely staggering round of applause, please.